Jurassic World, directed by Colin Trevorrow, is the fourth film in the Jurassic Park series, and it stars Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, T. Simpkins, and Nick Robinson. It takes place 22 years after the original Jurassic Park, where a fully functioning dinosaur theme park, Jurassic World, is finally open to the public, and thousands of people visit every day. However, thanks to a new genetically modified dinosaur, things go completely insane. This film is a train wreck. Almost every single part of this film fails spectacularly. The special effects, while sometimes they do look impressive, sometimes the effects in the original Jurassic Park look better than the effects in this film, which is maybe a testament to how good the effects were in the original Jurassic Park, or maybe it just shows how bad the effects were in this film. The script and the story of this film are honestly so contrived. Almost everything happens for a completely contrived or forced reason. It's like someone had individual ideas for scenes but didn't know how to get them into a cohesive story, so they wrote a story around these set pieces, and it really just feels forced and very unbelievable. But the dialogue in this film sometimes is truly horrendous. There are 2 points in the film where just characters were talking and the lines were so cliche and so embarrassingly awful that I sort of had to cringe and turn myself away from the screen, just sort of out of my own humiliation that I'm watching this. However, I do think that the actors did a great job delivering these lines. You can tell that all the actors are trying their best with this film, and I think they pull it off, but just some lines were so horrendous and so awful. And things only happen because people are idiots. It's a complete idiot plot. Some of the things that people do in this film, no human being would do, and it's so frustrating to watch. It does not have a fraction of the charm that the original Jurassic Park had. Jurassic Park, the first one, while it is mainly remembered because of its groundbreaking special effects, it also had a certain charm to itself that drew you into this world and sort of made you think this was believable. A perfect example of how this film does not draw you in is at the beginning of the film when they're showing this new Jurassic World park. It introduces the Jurassic Park theme song sort of subtly, but then, it builds it up in crescendo until it's going to have a wide revealing moment and the music hits its full potential, its full extent. And usually, for example, in the first film, the film reached the height of the music when you first saw the dinosaurs. In this film, the music hits its swelling point when you just see a group of people. No dinosaurs are seen in this point of the film, and the music has hit this swelling point before anything sort of worthy of it appears in the film. And this is just one small example of how this film does not match up to the charm of the original. The CGI in this film sometimes is really impressive, but other times it's absolutely horrendous. Anytime anyone is touching a dinosaur, it feels like an actor acting like he's touching a computer-generated effect. And it doesn't make sense, because this film had such a humongous budget as well, and some of the effects look worse than the original, and it's so infuriating. Everything feels so forced and unnatural, and it just feels dragged along, and the audience feels dragged along. And some of the dialogue is so bad. Sometimes it's unintentionally hilarious. I found myself laughing at points where I was not supposed to be laughing. For example, a romantic scene late into the film made me just die with laughter. None of this qualifies the film to be a train wreck. I think what qualifies the film to be a train wreck is the last 20 minutes. And while it did go completely off the rails and just completely jumped the shark and lost any credibility with me, it did create its own charm. Not the charm of the original, which is this wonderful, whimsical film. This film, the last 20 minutes, had me appreciating it on a comedic level. The final part of this film had me laughing, almost on the floor laughing, because it's so ridiculous, but not in the way I think the film wanted it to be. But it qualifies the film to be a complete train wreck. While I don't think that Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard had much chemistry together, I don't think this is their fault. I mainly think it's the fault of the script for being so lacking and not really giving them any chemistry. However, I do think that T. Simpkins and Nick Robinson were really good in this film, and they did have good chemistry together. But again, some of the dialogue in this film made me just hate their characters. The actors really tried their best and they managed to pull it off to their greatest extent. But again, like everything else in this film, it's just so... their characters are so contrived and lacking. It's just cringe-inducing at so many points in this film. Overall, the script, the plot, the special effects are all just giant messes, and it honestly does qualify as a train wreck. Because I did enjoy myself, but objectively it is an awful, awful film. I'm going to give this film a 4 out of 10. And the only reason I'm giving it a 4 is because I genuinely think the acting was pretty good, and the actors all carried the script they were given. But other than that, the plot feels like a series of set pieces that were written individually and just strung together. The special effects weren't that great. It didn't have any of the charm of the original that made me care about the situation that was going on. I mean, it did have its own charm, but it was a different kind of charm, sort of like a terrible B-movie charm. But if you were expecting anything near the quality of the original, don't go watch this film. So that was another episode of Blumensev Film Talk. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more movie-related videos, then you can subscribe. If you have any opinions on this film that differ from mine, or you completely disagree with me or completely agree with me, leave a comment in the comment section below. I would love to read them. See you soon!